topic of conversation. The last thing she wanted was for her father to find out she wasn't actually making use of her psychology degree. Instead, she was making ends meet by recording radio jingles during the day, the closest she could get to her ruined dream of becoming a jazz singer. Her father had tolerated her decision to move to Vegas 6 years ago only because she had been so distraught after the attack that she'd told him was a mugging gone wrong that she could barely function. If he'd known the real reason she'd left. No, run from New York. He would never have let her go. The priest finished the last rites, and the crowd responded with the proper prayers. She felt the whisper of a breeze against her neck, the softest caress. A shiver trickled down her spine, but when she turned slightly, hoping to catch the soothing air, the breeze died away. "You can always come home if things don't work out," her father said. "You can stay in the house and look after Tom and me like you did after your mother died. We haven't had a good meal since you left. 8 years is a long time to go without good bracciola the way your mother used to make it." Grace didn't miss his emphasis on the word left, or the undertone of judgment that went with it. Her decision to move to Vegas had been acceptable. Her abandonment of the family 2 years prior had not. But everything had changed when at 16 she discovered that her life had been a lie. Her kind, doting father was not actually an insurance salesman. The weekly funerals they attended weren't just because her family was unlucky, and her mother hadn't bled to death in the arms of her 10-year-old daughter as the result of an accidental shooting by an overzealous cop. And while the revelation that Papa was in the Mafia explained some of her father's behavior, the respect he received when they went out, the small favors that were bestowed upon him that hinted at his real power and influence, she was unable to process some of the larger concepts. How could her loving father be a criminal and a murderer? How could she wear the clothes he bought her, eat the food he paid for, or live under his roof when he had blood on his hands and everything had been paid for with dirty money? How could she even begin to understand the horrifying things he had done to achieve his position as second in command of one of the most powerful organized crime families in the country? After her father had told her the truth, she'd run away, just as she'd tried to run away after her mother died. Her mother's sister had offered to take her in, and her father, distressed by her total and utter rejection, had agreed. She thought nothing could be as devastating as discovering her father wasn't who she thought he was. But it was nothing compared to the night her heart was ripped out of her chest. She felt a tickle on her neck, not a breeze this time, but something she knew instinctively as a warning. Someone was watching her. She took a quick glance over her shoulder, but she saw only trees glimmering in the sunshine, beckoning her with the promise of a respite from the heat and their cool shadows. "You can get bracciola in any good Italian restaurant. You don't need me." "I'm getting old," he sighed again. "I worry about you being all alone. I want to see you settled." "Setting me up with your friend's sons isn't going to do it. You know how I feel about what you're involved in." Her father bristled and his eyes narrowed, reminding her that although his hair had turned gray and there were new lines on his broad forehead and crinkles in the corners of his dark eyes, he was no weak, kindly old man. His shoulders were still broad, his back straight, and he was trim and fit from years of running and eating in moderation. But more than that, he carried himself with the confidence and authority of a man used to being obeyed. She could pretend to herself that she had made the choice to leave New York and that she was free to live her life the way she wanted in Vegas. But in reality, she was here only because he allowed it. If she pushed him too hard, he would drag her back to New York and force her into a marriage with the mobster of his choosing, and there was nothing she could do about it. Such was the power of the